daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Super funky start to a late night match review. Welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast, proud to be part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Iain Mackay. I'm here hosting tonight with my good friend Michael, who we waited a little bit longer for Michael to come back from the pub where he was watching the match with his dad, for us to review Newcastle against Liverpool. Yet another Newcastle-Liverpool match where we go down by the odd goal in 5 this time, not 7, where Liverpool score a last-minute winner, where it's somebody who should be studying for their O-levels who gets it. We see this before. Honestly, talk about lightning not striking twice. That 5 or 6 times that's happened in my lifetime. But anyway, I'm getting right through to the end there. Hope no spoilers. Michael, thank you for joining me. How are you, bud?
Yeah, doing well. Had a few drinks, obviously. Been out for my parents' Pearl anniversary. 30 years. Shout out to them. They've done a lot better than I will. The wife hopefully isn't listening to that. But overall, I'm doing very well. Obviously, a little disheartened at the late goal, which feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
What a sickener. What a sickener.
Again.
We are, I know, but the thing is that we're so proud of them. I know we'll go into detail in part 2 about the first half, in part 3 about the second half. But to go down to 10 men and 2 behind, no matter how wonderful that crowd was to lift them, nobody would have given Newcastle much of a hope, and yet they got it back to 2-2, and they were pressing throughout that last 10 minutes, corner after corner, looking like they were going to steal a winner. When right at the death, of course, the kid who's not 17 yet gets brought on, and he is the one who does the Roy of the Rovers ending to pinch it for Liverpool, who must be the least deserving winners of match week 2 in the Premier League. Yeah. Please let me have that. Not the least deserving winners ever.
I was saying, wasn't it? Yeah, I was going to say, Carragher was saying least deserving winners ever, and most deserving losers ever. Now, personally, I don't like being patronised, but I think he's realised that throughout this transfer window, Liverpool fans have just acted a little bit like twits. They've all embarrassed themselves a little bit, and there's Newcastle fans that have as well, but maybe he's just trying to not embarrassing himself today, which, to be fair, I didn't hear too much of his commentary at half-time, and I've only seen the quote from the end of the game, so it doesn't seem like he was too bad. But yeah, just imagine losing it to a kid, man. I mean, he's 13 years younger than me. I hazard to guess how much he is younger than you.
I'll tell you, if let me do the maths, I'll tell you, he's 40. He's 46 years younger than me.
Jesus. Yeah. Get back to go back to school. We don't want to see you again.
But it's ridiculous because I remember Carvalho did that when we had fought so hard for a draw at Anfield, and he scored in the 7th minute of injury time when there were only 5 minutes due to be played. And Klopp did his stupid grin and running up and down the side of the pitch. Thank God Klopp's nowhere to be seen. Although I'm beginning to hate Arne Slot as much as him really, really quickly. Look, let's go back to the beginning, Michael. Interesting team news from Liverpool, who brought Gravenberch back in, who effectively was going to screen the back four. I mean, they wouldn't be as exposed as they were against Bournemouth. But Alexis McAllister was missing because apparently his wife's having a baby. And as Roy Keane said, what's he doing after the night off? It's his wife that's having the baby. But I thought it gave us a chance if he wasn't playing. The other plus that I thought was that Szoboszlai was going to play right back because Conor Bradley wasn't fit enough, Gomez wasn't fit enough to start, and Frimpong had been injured. And to be fair to him, I thought Szoboszlai was excellent at right back.
Yeah,
I know Gordon got him booked early on, but he handled Gordon a lot better than a lot of full-time right backs have. Newcastle's lineup, as predicted, I think, Not as hoped for. I gave a very different team lineup on my little solo preview, but I did predict that Eddie would go with the same starting 11, which is what he did. Is that what you would have done, Michael?
No, I have to say, after a pretty poor performance against Aston Villa from Harvey Barnes, I would have been saying, you know what, let's get Anthony Gordon out on the left. Let's put Anthony Elanga in the centre and let's play Jacob Murphy out wide on the right, which I will also say, I was saying at the end, when it's 2-2, you probably want Jacob Murphy on, because it's one of those, he's played right back so many times. When you got 10 men, it gives you that extra man. So, but I'll get into that later.
But that sounds, Michael, like you didn't hear Eddie in his interview half an hour before kickoff saying that they were protecting Jacob Murphy because he has a little bit of an Achilles issue.
Then why is he on the bench?
I don't know.
Why have we brought him at all? Put Isak on there. He was hiding behind some kid.
It was. I think
it looked like.
I thought he was wearing an Alan Shearer mask because the Sky cameras kept flipping through to Alan Shearer, and I thought at some stage he was just going to rip it off, and it was going to be Isak underneath it. That
Here at the Panto at Newcastle United. He's behind you.
That didn't happen. See, I thought that we would. What I wanted to do was to play 3 centre halves and have Tino and Hall. Hall looked great, by the way, when he came on. He looks fit.
Fantastic.
Tino and Hall as the attacking wing backs. Play your 3 in midfield, and I would have given the left half of attack to Gordon and the right half to Elanga, and let them go in inside right, inside left, and make sure that Hall and Livramento were giving us the width. I thought that had give us a lot of pace going forward, really secure in the middle, but and also took Harvey Barnes out of the equation. But that's not what was done. So I would have preferred to see something like that, a little bit like we did against Arsenal in the 2 semi-finals.
Yeah, great point. Played great that day as well.
I think anyway. Let's be fair. Eddie's not going to do massive changes. We did hammer Aston Villa 0-0. If the truth be known, he's not going to change that team. That's how we lined up. That's how we got in. And as we'll go through, actually, team played really, really well. But I'm going to pause early and do the Bioniq ad because we're going to need plenty of time to talk about each of these halves. So let's do this.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now. Your body is unique. And Global...
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
It covers up the Bioniq loop. Did you see that? It started again, and I was able to blank it out and cross it off. And yeah, I know Michael has told me for the first time I've spoken to Michael since the new Sting has come out, and he hates it. But I love it, and I played it.
Tell them that.
I love it at every possible opportunity. When I did my solo, I sandwiched the Bioniq advert with a Sting on both sides. I love it so much. I know. Anyway, it's 8:00. The match is kicked off, and I thought, to a man, we played pretty well for that first half hour. I mean, we bossed them. Tell me what your impressions were. Who stood out for you, Michael, in that first half hour?
Yeah, I think first half hour, it was one of those where it was starting to feel like the cup final again. And they had the first shot of the game through Florian Wirtz. But it was one of those where we had all of the ball. We just weren't really creating too much with it. It did take us a little while to actually create a chance, which is obviously going to be a little frustrating. But our press was so good. Like, if you look at, I don't have the stats in front of me. Usually I'm the stat man, but it felt like every other pass that Liverpool did was going to one of our players because the press was just so high up.
They
I
were
think a
excellent.
player that I was quite impressed with, and it's just the sheer amount that he was able to get on the ball and control the game, was Kieran Trippier. I thought defensively he wasn't fantastic, but on the ball I thought everything was going through that right-hand side, which, to be honest, I don't entirely agree with when you've got a centre attacking midfielder playing right back for Liverpool. But it was clear that the aim was to get Trippier, Bruno and Alanga on that right-hand side and then get it into the back stick where you were hoping Szoboszlai, being let's be honest, not a right back, to actually just lose his position in a little bit and Barnes could get in behind. I thought we did it quite a lot. We did quite well. Trippier was probably the best player of the first 30 minutes for me. I really liked that performance. And I am also, I'm going to say Anthony Gordon. I'm really disappointed in Gordon for the entirety of that first half. But if you look at it I'm disappointed because he was an idiot. If you look at that first 30 minutes, it's an excellent performance. He's dribbling past players. That turn he did on Canati to get Canati's yellow card, it's absolutely excellent. And then the last minutes of the first half, where you just want to get back in, regroup, and go straight at them in the second. He presses brilliantly, and you're like, right, brilliant, you've done your job, just leave it there. No, he goes studs up on the back of Van Dijk, like an absolute idiot. He's nowhere near the ball, and I was argued with a fair bit in the pub that it's not a red, but for me, it's a red all day. And I think when you saw the marks on Van Dijk's calf afterwards, there was no disputing it. But it's so stupid and a horrible end to what overall was a pretty positive first half, despite being 1-0 down.
I thought he was excellent. I thought he led the press really well. I agree with you on that. I thought Szoboszlai didn't let Liverpool down. There was a fabulous fabulous ball in from Alanga, who showed just how rapid he was a few times in that first half, that Gordon was onto for 2 yards out, and Szoboszlai came right back with him. And I think
it was a
great last-ditch block that just rolled safely to Alisson. There was a cross from the left from Barnes as well, which Gordon got it really well with a header, and it dropped on the roof of the net. I thought you see, everyone calls him makeshift and like we're crippled because we've got him playing centre forward. But listen to Gordon talking now. He sees his future as a centre forward. He thinks he's coming off the wing and playing down the middle. That's what he wants to do. So, and he's good at it. He is good at it. He might not be as good at it as he is when he's playing on the wing, but I don't think we're looking toothless at all.
No, I would agree.
All I got from that first half an hour, there was one bad pass from Shah, which fortunately was wasted by Liverpool. There was an incredible free kick from Tonali that he took from the left. It looked it's going to be dangerous. It went out for a throw in on the other side of the pitch. I'm not sure what he was thinking of doing there. What else have I written down here for that first half? Livramento overlapping. Livramento is such a good player. I've got Alanga,
that first half. Agreed.
Alanga, rapid. Anthony Gordon. He was like a wasp at the Liverpool defenders' picnic. I've put down. Not bad, you see. I should have been a journalist, Matt. I should have been a journalist, Michael.
You should have been. I like that.
It was Gordon that got Canati booked. It was Gordon that got Szoboszlai booked. There's the header on the roof of the net. At some stages in that first half, when Sky does its last 5 minutes stats, Newcastle were 80-20 in favour for possession. We didn't expect that. I thought we were meant to be. I thought we were meant to be holding off and then hitting them on the transition when we get the ball. That wasn't what was happening. We had the ball all of the time. Then there's that silly goal, isn't there? It was a great shot, to be fair. Just once we stood off him and gave him a chance to have a look up, and Gravenberch's shot got a tiniest of deflections just to make sure that Pope didn't get down fast enough, and then in off the foot of the post. So annoying. And it did knock us out of our stride for a little while. And I think it was that frustration that had Dan Burn welly Mo Salah in the leg and get booked. And 2 minutes later, Gordon, who was running around like mad and closing down the right back, then the goalkeeper, got to Van Dijk way too late to be able to try and jump in like he did, and got himself sent off. It looked fairly bleak at that point.
Half time, you're sitting there and you're going, I'll take a 2-0 loss. Just let's not let the goal difference get too badly damaged, because we saw that put 4 past Bournemouth. And let's be honest, when you don't have a striker, you're thinking we're not going to score more than once. We need to keep it. We need to keep the score down, and hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 goals. And to be honest, we did absolutely fantastically, as we'll get to, in that second half. But it's one of those where at half time, even more so after the 46th minute, a minute of the second half, you're sitting there and you're thinking, this is going to be, we're in trouble here. This is going to be really, really bad. And
it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating because we had played so well. And there just didn't seem to be any justice in conceding a goal there. That happens all of the time, of course. But it's compounded when Gordon's trying just too hard. I don't think he was trying to cripple Van Dijk, by the way. I think he's just completing that really hard press, and his over-exuberance means he goes for the tackle when he shouldn't. He should just let it go.
The worrying thing for me with that is how far away from the ball he is. I think if he's not massively far, let's be honest, Van Dijk's already kicked the ball with the other foot. And if he gets it on Van Dijk's standing foot, I think he gets away with it. But it's just the fact he's so far away from the ball that the refs looked at it and gone, I haven't got a choice, unfortunately.
No, he hasn't. He didn't. So stupid. Van Dijk's what? Is he 10 yards outside his own box?
Yeah.
He's already played 2 of the 2 minutes of injury time in the first half. There's nothing happening. It's not dangerous. It's not like punching the ball over the bar when it's going in, getting sent off for that. So pointless.
Yeah.
Very hot-headed, Anthony Gordon. We know it was because of your over-enthusiasm, not for any malice. But I imagine Virgil van Dijk's after-match bath stung a bit when he put that in the hot water. But, anyway, so it's half-time. Good time for me to ask if you've got the Zencastr advert. I should have asked at the start.
Because you realistically should have, but it's one of those where, much like Newcastle United's performance, I'll be able to just pull something out of the hat that's absolutely fantastic, and it'll sound something like this.
Well, it'll sound after this.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we have spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. And Zencastr, it came out the clear winner with 4K video recording from your phone that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It is super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Well done, Michael. We can't throw Michael a curveball on this podcast. He reacts professionally every time. Welcome back to part 3, everybody. We're going into the second half. And anybody who was waiting for the kettle to boil to finish thinking they'd get back just before the adverts had finished when they're watching it on Sky, found that they got back to their couch and 20 seconds into the second half, Ekitike of all people. I mean, he was a dead cert to score, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he scored. I don't know what we did. I don't know if we were caught cold. I don't think we had a touch. But Ekitike scored after 20 seconds to make it 2-0. And I was wondering whether I should just stop watching because I thought that was going to herald a complete cave-in and where West Ham lost 5-1. Leeds ended up losing 5-0 when they went behind eventually at Arsenal. That's what I feared at that point. How were you fearing it. We're 20 seconds in and we're 2 down.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was looking at my parents across the table from me, and I was thinking, I might just use a taxi now because it's your anniversary, 30 years. You don't want to watch this. But I was sitting there, persevered, but I was thinking this is going to get really bad. And I was sitting there thinking, looking at Sky Bet on my phone and thinking, Mo Salah, Ekitike, 4-0. I could feel it, and then I was like, you know what? No, we'll stick with it. We'll keep it going another 10 minutes, and then another 10 minutes went by, and we're like, you know what? We're actually playing really well. We're not doing much against them, but we're playing well. And then, obviously, Bruno got the goal and everything changed.
I think we got a bit of belief because, to be fair, and I don't think we've said this yet, Liverpool were terrible.
Yes.
Liverpool didn't take their time at all, particularly got a man advantage. Right at the very end, they took their time, they played possession, they worked the ball, and they got the young lad into miles of space to score the winner. They didn't do it before then. They were pushing so hard, trying to do something that wasn't on, that the ball kept running through to Pope or was intercepted and we brought it away. And then we started playing one or two nice moves to bring it out. And I think the crowd got up for it a little bit. Tonali got knocked over and hurt his shoulder, didn't he? That got the crowd a little bit angry. And then I can't remember whether that was before or after Bruno's goal, but it was after Bruno's goal. So Tonali stayed on. But yeah, a sophistication brought to our set piece routines by employing a new set piece coach, exemplified by 7 or 8 long throws being tried tonight, but Liverpool are rubbish at them. It was a long throw. I think it was kind of not. It looked like it was going to be flicked on, but it wasn't flicked on. And Bruno just outmuscled Kirkes at the back and scored a little bit of a diving header. Suddenly it's 2-1, and the crowd, instead of holding their breath, waiting to see when Liverpool were going to score next, suddenly got a little bit of belief. They came back in. That was evident over the TV. It must have been fantastic in the ground when that goal went in.
100%, yeah.
But I still didn't have much hope, I have to admit, particularly when Tonali had to go off and Miley came on. Miley, first choice substitute, definitely fourth choice in the midfield now. Andy looked assured when he came on, quietly efficient, gets stuck in a corner, doesn't panic, keeps control and knocks it to Burn to clear properly. I thought Miley looked really mature beyond his years when he came on.
Yeah. I would say, just on with that, I'd say Miley, I was really questioning being the first substitute. When I saw Miley, I was thinking, this isn't the game for Miley. He's not got the legs. I thought he did do well, but I thought he did a hell of a lot better when Jacob Ramsey was alongside him. And I'll get to it a bit later, but for me, he looks so exciting. And Ramsey and Miley alongside each other as 2 substitutes, I've got a feeling we'll do that quite a lot this season, and it'll be very, very good. But I'll get to that later.
Well, I was going to mention there was a triple substitution on 74 minutes, the last throw of the dice, if you like. Joe Linton had got hurt.
Yeah.
Not sure. He didn't look like he got kicked very much. I don't know if he's pulled something. Could it be a Joe Linton's groin again?
Yeah, it looks that way. A little pull to the thigh, or maybe the groin. As you said, groin probably looks more likely, but it just seemed a little pull. I'd say it's one of those that I don't think it'll keep him out as long as the last one did. But it was one of those where you looked at him and went, yeah, you're off straight away.
So took advantage of that by taking Trippier off and bringing Hall on and switching Livramento over to right back. And Barnes, the anonymous Barnes, finally came off and Asula came on. With 10 men, I think Asula was sort of kind of doing that, take the whole of the left side, because Alanga was trying to cover the whole of the right side. But actually, it was Arnie Slot that pointed out to me afterwards that because we had a lot of, it was a very broken play and we had a lot of dead ball situations, and all of those free kicks were taken by Nick Pope. which means that you don't have a man disadvantage when it's the goalkeeper that's taking the free kick because everybody is up where the ball is. Anyway, that was just an observation. I think they took it might be the old Wimbledon playbook because there was a lot of long balls going through.
So I noticed that PSG do the same. If you look back at the old Joe Kinnear Wimbledon tapes, you'll see you probably remember, they pass the ball from the kickoff and immediately it goes towards the corner flag because the most dangerous position of the pitch is that final third. And don't be wrong, you don't want your team to do it. But when you're 2-1 down, 10 men, if that ball's in the corner flag, the fans are up for it, and I've noticed it a few times. We've done it, and you're completely right to mention Wimbledon there because they were the masters of it back in the 90s. But yeah, I love to see stuff like that from us because it shows as much as we want to play good football. We know that sometimes you've just got to play a different style.
And that was. That and the long throws at the Stoke. I can't remember who was the manager at Stoke. Was that when Pulis was at Stoke?
Tony Pulis, Rory Delap, yeah.
Tony Pulis at Stoke. Sam Allardyce, he had a bit of a go.
Yeah,
Bolton,
he loved it.
Dave Bassett at Wimbledon. They're the first managers to use statistics to govern the tactics of the game.
Yeah.
Because they'd worked out where's the ball got to go for us to be able to score from it. It needs to be in the final third. It needs to get to the final third as quickly as possible. So if that's by being volleyed out of the goalkeeper's hands and doing it in one bounce, that's as fast as you can get it up there. So Interesting. It's not very sophisticated, but can be very effective. As the Nick Pope free kick from 60 yards that Byrne missed but flicked off the back of Konate's head and Asula put underneath Allison's body for an equaliser.
Yeah,
shows Will Asula. I just had said in our group chat, bring on Asula. He came on, then he scored. Nicola wants me to pick her lottery numbers on Saturday. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, anyway. It's one of those where I was sitting there. Asula came on, and I've got no quorum saying I hate to say it, but I don't think this kid's very good. And I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. And then 5 minutes later, he scores. I look like an idiot, but I'm sitting there and I'm so happy for him because it's the kind of goal he needs. Where when you're a striker and you've got a winger playing in front of you. When he came on, I was saying like if you're a striker and you're not getting started over a winger, and all people are talking about is it the other winger that should be starting ahead of you instead? It's one of those where you've got to stake your claim, and there's no better way to do that than by scoring an equaliser against Liverpool. Now, it wasn't the greatest goal. It was a bit scrappy, but I'll take anything at this point.
You took it well enough. It was a 15-minute cameo, or it ended up being a 25-minute cameo because of all of that
injury time, yeah.
He scored. He didn't get pushed around by Liverpool too much. I mean, he was giving the free kicks away by pushing them a bit hard. I wonder if he's given himself a chance of starting against Leeds, who, let's face it, aren't Aston Villa, aren't Liverpool. Maybe he's going to start against Leeds. Who knows? I hope he has given himself a chance to do that because I think he's probably made me sit up and think because I'm kind of writing him off that Eddie Howe doesn't want to play him. Maybe he's earned himself another chance by getting that goal. So then somehow 10-man Newcastle are pinning the champions back in their own half. Corner after corner after corner. The only possible outcome, it looks, is that Newcastle are going to score an unlikely winner during injury time. Yeah. When Slot brings on Harvey Elliott and Rio, can't remember his name, but he's not 17 until the weekend. And just when he did that, I thought, oh my God, I wrote down on my notes, this is set up for a late Liverpool winner, and I bet it's the 16-year-old who scores. Anyway.
Yeah.
3 or 4 corners after that, Liverpool finally start playing the ball the way they should have been doing it all of the match. They had played a really good move, got the ball out to the right, knocked the ball across. Szoboszlai did a fantastic dummy that took Livramento out of the game. And this young kid just strolls up and finishes first time. It was really well-struck goal. It was a well-taken goal.
Yeah, it's a great goal. Credit to the kid.
But
He's done
but you know,
fantastic.
it did make me almost cry.
Yeah.
Even then, even after that, we had 2 shots in a corner that we could have maybe got something out of, but sadly they scored so late we didn't have much chance to get there. And that is a final score. Newcastle have lost 3-2. We've got 1 point. We're sitting in 15th, I think.
Yeah.
I think we'd have 6 points out of 6 if points were awarded for moral victories. But sadly, points are not awarded for moral victories, and we have started our season with a home defeat, which is a shame. But I
Yeah.
don't think anybody. I mean, it's no point. It's no consolation for everyone going, "Oh no, you played really well. You deserve to win." When you've lost, honestly, I'm
Yeah.
not consoled. Are you consoled?
I'm not consoled at all. I think when you look at it and you go, in the game, I think Liverpool, there's no way Liverpool had an XG expected goals higher than 1 because they created nothing. I'd be surprised if it's over 0.5.
Well, it was I could tell you this because I saw it. Newcastle's XG was 0.9 something. Liverpool's was 0.7. So we had a higher XG.
There you go.
We had 10 shots to their 5. Just a shame.
Really clinical, and it's a shame because it's the same as the Villa game where it's the same story of we were the better team, we just didn't make it count. But the one thing I did see from Arnie Slot, and I'm sorry this doesn't answer the question, but Arnie Slot said there was only one team trying to play football today. Every single Premier League team has played a home game and away game. Only one team has had less shots away from home than Liverpool this season. That was Leeds, who played Arsenal.
Yeah.
So if only one team has turned up to play football, well, it certainly wasn't you. You've had 2 shots from distance that have gone in off the post. Fair play. Ekitike, great strike. Gravenberg, great strike. And you've won it late at the end. But don't go on being all high and mighty that you have tried to play great football when you have had more fouls than us. You've had an XG of, 0.7? And generally, you are absolutely shite. So you've got away with 1 there. We're absolutely fine. I'm fuming now. I'll be fine when I wake up in the morning because I know that we're going to sign a striker, 50 million in for Strand Larson, and we'll be fine. But better team. Yeah, but we'll go up to 60.
Will we? Right. Just to finish, who do you single out as your man of the match?
Oh, see,
it would have been Gordon. It would have been Gordon for the first half an hour, but he blotted his copybook, so it can't be Gordon. I think there's a few to choose from. I thought Byrne was immense.
Yeah, I'm going to go
both boxes.
I'm actually going to go Tino Livramento.
Right.
I thought across the entire game, I thought he was one of our best players. I think he had a great game. He got past Salah and Szoboszlai. He was always there for the overlap. Defensively, I thought he was really quite good. I think both goals in the first 2 goals, I think they come from Trippier's side. I think Livramento had a really solid game. Joe Linton in front of him. Attacking wise, Barnes didn't really give him much to work with, but I thought Tino was excellent, and it's probably yet again one of the quietest games Mo Salah has ever had in his career. The first is when he was up against Lewis Hall. The second's when he'd been up against Tino Livramento.
No, Tino was definitely there. I thought Dan Byrne was immense, but I thought Bruno got better and better and better. He started well, and with Tonali and Joe Linton going off, I thought Bruno really grew into the game, and I mean he was involved in everything by the end.
Yeah,
when he couldn't keep that ball in at the end, he smashed it into his own face 5 times, and I forget who it was who smiled at him, but he nearly smashed him in the face 5 times as well. It was getting a little bit irate. Just stay in control, Bruno.
Yeah, thankfully Alisson was there to calm him down, Brazilian to Brazilian. I do like to see that, to be fair.
So, listeners, what do you think of our assessment? We think Newcastle were moral victors, but we've ended up with no points. A really good performance, actually, but we have to see in the morning just how worrying that performance is because Shah's concussed, Joe Linton and Tonali are on the sick table, and of course straight red for Andy Gordon means he misses the next 3 games, so we won't see him again until bloody October.
Yeah,
I think.
Arsenal. End of September, Arsenal. It's not looking great.
No. We definitely need in this last 7 days of the 6 days now of the transfer window, we need a striker in. Because even our makeshift striker, who thinks he's a real striker, is not there for the next 3 games. Maybe Will Asula is good enough for Leeds. Let's leave it on that thought. Thanks very much, Michael. We'll see you soon.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.